Mr. Joe has such a great sense of humor. This is great. He says, God never called you to be a vampire to your spouse. Some of you might be into that, but I'm sorry. Uh, I said that out loud? Okay. So he says, he didn't say that. Don't let your needs be like the list of a 5-year-old's Christmas list. Don't let your list of needs be like, all these things that you expect them to do, especially if you're not telling them. You just think, oh, okay, they're supposed to do this. Well, maybe not. Maybe, or maybe you should at least inform them. Maybe in writing. All right, let's see. Uh, we need to grow up. Maturity, even when you're older, needs to happen. If you haven't learned certain things at the age of 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 90, it's helpful to keep learning your whole life, right? That's a part of being alive, just like a plant, anything, flourishing, getting better, right? Fine wine. Be like a fine wine. That sounds good. Oh boy. Stop enabling people. Those people are happy to drain every blessing that you have and leave you empty. It creates crippling codependency. Helps you to feel better that you feel like you're helping somebody, but it's not helping them to gain confidence in themselves, that they can do things on their own, independence that they should have at some level, to be on their own, especially when you're not there anymore. How are they going to be able to handle things when you're not around or you can't be there for them? Help them to mature by letting them learn from their mistakes. Let them be hurt for a while. Talk to them. It says Jesus didn't chase the rich man down the street when he walked away and he told him, what do I need to earn, my way to heaven? And he said, or to be right with God, right? He said, leave all your riches and wealth, give them to the poor, and follow me. Okay. You can take that in a bunch of ways, but he really meant what he said, because if you read the full story and get the whole chapter, this person was more or less somebody that didn't really earn their wealth. Okay. And when you earn your wealth, mostly people learn humility. They learn from a lot of their mistakes. And if they have their ego in check, it's like people that create a business, the founder of a company, the difference in the attitude and the way they treat their employees. And oh boy, did I see this. I won't mention where. When somebody creates something from nothing, they pour their life into it, hopefully in good ways. They really care and have a sincere heart about doing the right thing. Mostly. Okay. Still human. But then when the next generation comes, and especially the generation out of that might not have been taught the same lessons, they take a lot for granted and they don't treat those people the same way that work for them. They never learned what it really took and were humbled by the whole experience. So, little rabbit hole there. Jesus did not chase that guy. He let him walk away, and Jesus just kept on preaching the truth. Forgiveness comes from God because it does not come naturally for us. It doesn't seem right a lot of times to forgive somebody, right? Hurts. It's uncomfortable. But here's the thing. Remember this. Forgiveness is not for them. It's for you. That doesn't make it a selfish act because there's two people involved. You're confronting them. You're letting them know that you recognize that they got hurt, and they might be like, yeah, I know I hurt you. I meant to hurt you. Okay, well, they need to work on that. And maybe there's something you can do to help. Who knows what the situation is there between maybe you and that person or whatever the situation is, but you have to talk about it. It's for you because here's the thing. It's for your spirit. There is so much that goes on in this world. The older that you get, if you're paying attention, instead of getting sucked into the boob tube or doing whatever else that where you're not really engaged in life and really trying to understand life at its roots and how people really work, what hurts them, you're not going to grow. You're going to be stagnant or get worse. Bitterness. Your spirit gets tainted. You're not as sincere, maybe, as you once were. You get jaded. People use the word. That's a great word. Things that should affect you to bring an alertness to your life so you're conscious, and things that are supposed to be hurtful to you hurt, and things that you're sensitive to, you're sensitive. If you grow callous, just like a finger, you can't feel anymore, and it gets just passed over, and it shouldn't be. So those other people that hurt you, they may never change. If we don't forgive, what happens, if you're a spiritual person, just follow me here, please. And if you're not, just take it for what it is. You're gonna might say a lot of people use this thing about, oh, it's woo woo. Get over it. Right? Just listen, okay, and take it. Then think about it and throw it away if it's no use to you. If we don't forgive, our spirit, the Holy Spirit, that's in communication with God, will not be able to communicate with us. Our heart becomes hardened. And we get mad at God in the end, saying things like, how did he let this happen to me? Well, most of the time, he's not letting it happen to you. We allowed it to happen. Because here's the thing, when we don't forgive, it might be a small thing, but it can fester and it can grow. And then with that person, we're now looking out, okay, how else are they going to hurt me? If you can get past the uncomfortableness of talking with the person about it and letting them know that you're hurt and letting them know you forgive and get rid of that hurt and that bitterness and not allowing it to fester. There was a bee on there. You want a healthy, delicious apple. Here's one from the store. Okay. Not going to say which one. Here's one that was picked right off the tree. Now, that might be different varieties. But I'm going to tell you, these right off the tree that were used very little pesticides to just protect them. And this that you buy in the store, a lot of times we get the apples from the store, especially when they're out of season. And there's a clue. Are you out of season? Is your attitude and your forgiveness level out of season? It's not going to seem natural. It's going to be less and less natural for you to forgive somebody, or easy for you to forgive. And you'll become hardened. And the harder your heart gets and the more you let it fester, this sweetness that was once in you will start to fade and get covered with mountains of hurt. And it's sad. Some sweet, wonderful people get hurt so bad, and they sometimes never find a way to forgive. And they're not as sweet as they once were. And it's harder for them to trust people and learn. They're no longer delicious to talk with or to have a relationship with. It's tougher, right? I taught my kids that grapes that we got at the farm stand were God's candy. Right? They were delicious. They should be, because it comes from good natural sources. But when they're grown in artificial, fake people, Make you think of anybody? They're fake because they're putting on a facade, usually because they've been hurt. And they're covering up the good person that was once there. And it's sad to watch. Everybody has goodness within them. I believe that. But sometimes it gets buried. Most of the time it's buried under hurts and unrealistic expectations. We have all these natural, wonderful fruits that are available on earth. But when they're grown in environments, or people are grown up in an environment where Pastor Joe was telling us about, I thought he was going one way with this preaching, but another way he said he has people in the family that have degrees, doctorates, master's degrees in bitterness. I was like, well, what? And he said that sometimes they would go to family gatherings or weddings that you're supposed to show up to, at least, for free food or whatever the occasion, however you're taking that. And you go and you're there to honor the person. But across the way, you see people that you haven't talked to in 10 years because they looked at you a certain way 10 years ago. And instead of talking with them about it, like we do many times in a bad way, texting, which has no emotion, you can't see the person, you don't know how they're coming across. If it's sincere, how did you mean what you texted me? I don't know. Well, there was an emoji on there with a smile. You should have known how I felt. It's not coming through. It's so important to get with somebody so they're in front of you. Maybe FaceTime so they can at least see you and hear your voice. So important to get in the best environment, to share the most of you so they can see, hear you. How is this person coming from? Are they really apologizing, or is it just a text that they just copy and pasted from somewhere, somebody else's apology? You never know these days. Was it AI? An AI apology? No, that's bad. I'm sure somebody's going to do it. When you have a delicious apple like that, it was grown in the right environment. Because have you ever heard someone say, "Oh, I hate apples"? Here it is. I have a little list here. I remember a friend of mine. We were sitting there, and she says, "Oh, I hate water." What? So you're made up of 70% water or something like that, right? Maybe even more. I forget what the ratio is. You're made up of water. You hate what you're made of? So many things started going in my mind. How can you hate water? It's like, well, I drink coffee and juice and soda and whatever else. Okay. So this is how you're getting your water, with all kinds of contaminants. Just in case you're getting all of your water with contaminants. Here's the message. What choices have you made? Are you drinking it out of the tap, which has all kinds of stuff in there from the town? Or have you discovered, I'm just going to throw it out there, Saratoga water? If you're somebody that says, I hate water, go out and buy yourself some Saratoga. I like the still, just regular plain water. Throw it in the fridge for 30 minutes or an hour or a day. Get it really nice and crisp and take a nice big drink of that. Wow. Some of the best water I have ever tasted, because it comes from natural environments, the way water was supposed to taste. Apples grown on the tree, the way they're supposed to taste. Going to whoops, almost said a word there, the grocery store, generic, in June probably isn't the best apple to judge whether or not you really like apples or not. Have you heard anyone say, "Oh, I hate people"? I love dogs, love cats, but I hate people. It's sad, right? What kind of people? You want to ask, what kind of people are you choosing? What made you feel that way? What encounters have you had? Are you harboring bad emotions towards other people? Were you raised in an environment? Which apple are you? Grocery store in the spring or in the fall when it's ripe and grown under the best environment, the way you're supposed to be, the way the apple is supposed to be, the way the water is supposed to taste. Wonderful and delicious and healthy. By getting the right things, not apples that they take them grown in greenhouses and they are gassed at some point to be made red. This is something that I've read about because they're out of season. They're not grown naturally. And when you grew up in a family, perhaps, or an environment where it wasn't the best of circumstances, you might think it's natural to hold grievances against other people and not have forgiveness. But when you do that, again, bears repeating, it's going to harden your heart and it's going to be harder for God to speak to you. I mean, have you ever stopped and said to somebody, the other day, something told me to do this, or something told me that. You know what that something is? That's something told me. Something I'm going to just suggest, maybe not in your case, but think about it, is probably the Holy Spirit. The spirit that is natural in you in this environment, because you have to know. Now, if there's bad spirits, there's good spirits. You like Halloween coming up in a few weeks? It's bad spirits. There are good spirits, and you are in connection with God. If you're open to that, if you've closed yourself off from that, which is the way that you were designed and made. There's instructions on how to live this life. And one of the biggest things that I've learned, especially in the past couple of years, again, is the power of forgiveness to make your life fruitful. Have you ever, all right, this is just for married people now. Have you ever had a really tough situation with your spouse? Very angry. You're shouting at one another. You're getting it's anger because it's built up. You didn't talk about it soon enough. Now it has turned to anger when it comes out, and that's not good. But sometimes it comes out before it turns into something worse, and you deal with it. And then you feel so much better. You talked about it, you settled it, and you understand each other now at a new, little bit different level. That's okay. Go through that tough time. Have that argument. Don't be afraid. Don't get horrible with one another. That's what you say, all right? There could be kids around. And after that, if anybody's had an experience like this, I know I have. Well, all right, so I'm not going to say too much, but after you have times like that, there is a feeling of growth and connection with that person. With your spouse, you may have a terrific experience in the bedroom that night. Let's just put it that way, okay? It's just part of life and marriage. Because it's like Christmas in the bedroom. It's like Christmas when you give something to someone. Isn't it great to see them open that thing that they wanted or they needed that's going to improve their life? And as Christmas comes and you're getting these things, but it's so much more fun to give, right? At Christmas time, they open it and they're like, "Wow, thank you so much." Just in case you need to give the gift of forgiveness to someone else, and at the same time, give that gift to yourself. Have a little bit of Christmas, even though it's October, and you're probably seeing the decorations already at the home shops or wherever you're going. Give that gift just in case you're holding back. Please, I'm encouraging you. Somebody gave you a wrong look. They could have gotten a bad phone call. They could be thinking about a conversation they had 2 minutes ago where they're still digesting. I know it takes me sometimes, and I have to notify my face that I'm actually happy, even though I'm dealing with something that I just heard about or I learned that I have to deal with. Notify your face, tell others around you when you can that you're actually happy, and get over things. Don't become a Debbie Downer and or however they want to put it. And if your name's Debbie, don't take that the wrong way. But drink from a good place. Pick good fruits to hang out with. Don't just love your cat or dog. Love the people that you should. Get over the bitterness and live your best life. Start today by forgiving someone you need to forgive. Because I made a phone call about an hour ago, and that's what I did. And I feel so much better. Go for it.